And it's like, and I said, you've got to give them more credit. They don't train to get through it as they did. It speaks volumes, actually. It is, it's good. Yeah.
And that way it's not been very much.
Bellingham was on earth yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did anybody get him?
I would do.
Yeah?
Gordon Bellingham training.
Say Gordon Bellingham.
No, that's all good, mate. They'll start the clock now, so we're ready when you want, pal.
I've got American football in his Konsa.
So, Stones and Guéhi. Might want to have a look, see where they are. No, not with the camera, just with your eyes, so you can see. Manager on the left with Kane.
Konsa with a big involved in chasing rugby or American football.
That's it.
Yeah, it's back to a thing there.
Okay, mate. By the time you get there, they'll all have moved, yeah. But you know.
In the next, and then
Rob, it's the most important thing we ever tell you when we see the England live training, because all 26 members of the England squad are out there on the grass today. That's a huge boost to Gareth Southgate. Remember, they were all given the day off yesterday. None of them did anything football related. Only Jude Bellingham did a tiny bit. Remember, this is the biggest gap England will have between matches if they go all the way to the final, as we hope they will. It's a 6-day gap between the last 16 game and the quarter-final. From here on in, if they win against Switzerland on Saturday, it'll be a 3-day turnaround between each of the semi-finals and the finals. So they enjoyed that day off, but it's back to business right now. All 26 out there. Right in the middle of your picture, look, we can see Kieran Trippier, and that's good news because we know he's been struggling with a bit of a calf strain. In fact, let's just move across to John Stones. He's got some pretty heavy strapping on that right knee. That is something new. That's something we weren't expecting. He did have a bit of strapping on his right. That looks pretty heavy strapping, you have to say, on John Stones, doesn't it? So clearly he's got some issue there that the FA medical staff are kind of monitoring and trying to support as much as possible. But we'll try and find out a bit more about that. He was struggling with a calf strain, wasn't he, at the end of Newcastle's season. We know that he's been carrying that into the start of this international tournament as well, and he got a really hefty challenge as well from one of the Slovakian players that hurt his knee. He was pretty battered and bruised coming off that last 16 game against Slovakia, but he's out there, he's fit, he's training, which is really the place where we want them to be. Marc Guéhi, England's best defender for me, has been outstanding in this tournament so far, but he's suspended. He got a second yellow card against Slovakia in the tournament. That means he is suspended for this quarter-final game on Saturday against Switzerland, and so lots of questions about who might come in for him. Let's see if we can find Luke Shaw, shall we, because that's the other bit of it really. Remember, Gareth Southgate said it was a real gamble to bring him in and include him in this squad. There he is in the middle there. He's been out on the grass for the last few sessions with England now. Has told a couple of reporters, as he was for Gareth Southgate, to try and get 10 or 15 minutes out of him in the quarter-final, but the circumstances of the game just meant that wasn't possible at all. Is it possible that he could start at left-back? With Kieran Trippier out there and training, I very much doubt it. I think Southgate will still revert to plan A, even though it's been delayed, and try and get Luke Shaw on the pitch at some point in the game if England are winning it comfortably, but there are absolutely no guarantees about that with the form that they've been in this tournament so far, are there? So it might be difficult for Luke Shaw to come on the pitch, so we wait to see. Interestingly, we will hear from Luke Shaw. He's talking to the media. First time he's done England media in this tournament. That'll be 2:30. We'll bring that to you live on Sky Sports News. What does the man himself think about his fitness? Is he ready to go? I'm sure he'll say he absolutely is ready to go and he's fine. But we'll talk to him a little bit later on at 2:30 on Sky Sports News. Well, yeah, Jude Bellingham was in the diary room, and he said some really nice things, actually. He talked for the first time really openly about the goal, and he paid tribute to Marc Guéhi. You can see they turned the sprinklers on for us. The FA was really nice of them, so it looks like Jude Bellingham's in a thunderstorm. He isn't. That sprinkler is... He did get some time off yesterday, and when he spoke in the diary room, he paid a big tribute to Marc Guéhi. He called him the most humble man in the squad, and he didn't want any attention for that flick on that set Bellingham up for that wonder goal that kept England in this tournament and a career so far. But he was spotted in town where we're staying in Erfurt when he went out with his mum and father yesterday in a cafe. In fact, somebody in the FA has just told me that when I went for a run yesterday afternoon, I ran straight past him while he was sitting in the cafe, which is what they did. I mean, they did it once earlier in the tournament as well, and Harry Kane said that there were kids running all over the place in the team hotel, bouncy castles and horse riding activities, that he said it lasted 5 hours and maybe we should have cut it a bit shorter. So maybe when we speak to Luke Shaw a little bit later on, we'll ask him exactly what went on yesterday. The way he's performed in this tournament so far, but I think that's Ezri Konsa. No, that's Ivan Toney. If we can try and find Ezri Konsa, I think he, for me, is the most likely man to come in to replace Marc Guéhi. There he is, at the middle of the picture there, the Aston Villa man. He's been so consistent all season for Aston Villa, and it's been print made. So he's shown his versatility already: left back, right back, centre back. And I think he will come into England's central defence in place of Marc Guéhi. There is some Southgate might switch to a back three, something he hasn't done for 3 years. Last time he did that was against Germany in Euro 2020. It worked. England beat Germany 2-0. And they do have that option, don't they? Because it could be, again, I still think it would be Konsa, it would be John Stones, and he's got so few options at left back in that situation. Maybe Bukayo Saka could play left wing back in the back of your picture there. Maybe Trent Alexander-Arnold could go to a right wing back position. So it is possible that Southgate could go to a back three. He actually was asked that question by TalkSport immediately after the game against Slovakia the other night, and he was asked, could you go with a back three? And his answer was, let's see. Read into that what you will. But yeah, sessions I do a little 1 versus 1 training with Ezri, because for me he's one of the best in the Premier League defending one-on-one. So he improves me and I improve him as well, so I'm enjoying coming up against him. A little insight there into how maybe some of the little partnerships and training routines go on inside the England ball, with Ezri Konsa coming in from Marc Guéhi. It could, and it would be a good option. And look, for me, I think that would be a good option. I think that one of England's biggest problems in the tournament so far is that they've been outgunned in midfield. They haven't been able to control the ball as much as they would have liked. I was looking at some of the statistics. England have had 60% possession on average throughout the tournament. 59.7%, extremely accurate. Only Portugal and Germany have averaged more than that so far. But England have had more passes than any other nation so far in their own half. So that would suggest they're not progressing the ball through the thirds as much. I mean, look, anecdotally, a lot of it. But if they can get an extra body in midfield, if they can get that natural width with wing backs by playing 3 centre backs, maybe that's an answer to the problems. It's not something Southgate's done or even thought about for 3 years, so it would be a significant change of plan if he was to do that. But interesting to see what they do. Kobbie mainly, though, is the man who's come into that central midfield, and he's been outstanding. There he is, look, and that's nice. You've got him and Conor Gallagher together. And I felt a bit sorry for Conor Gallagher when he got his chance to start in that third group game against South Africa. I thought Gallagher did okay. I think he did what his job is, which is show real energy and dynamism and win the ball back, which he did really quite effectively. But Mainu, I think, has offered the best of both worlds for Gareth Southgate when it comes to passing ability, getting England going through the thirds, but also winning the ball back. He's not as good a passer as Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's not as good in terms of recovering the ball as Conor Gallagher, but he's the best all-rounder of those two that I think England have got. So I think Southgate has solved that central midfield conundrum. I do think it'll be Kobbie mainly that keeps his place alongside Declan Rice for this final game. But as I say, more of that over the coming days. We'll find out more detail as the days progress. That's an interesting one because that's where the England manager suddenly refused to make any of the changes that people, and there has been a plan of rotation, and I think he's had a big impact when he has come on. But he's had very little game time in this tournament. He is a player who looks to get beyond his full back. In the same way that Bukayo Saka was at the end of the ball, and has a bit of pace. He's playing on the right wing and he's left footed. Anthony Gordon playing on the left wing and he's right footed. One of the problems that I think England have had is what Lappy's been doing so far with his game plan in terms of his attacking options. There's Harry Kane on the right, by the way. 2 goals in 2 games in the knockout stages, even though he's not been absolutely at his best. Phil Foden, it's a big call if Gareth Southgate thinks about dropping Phil Foden, isn't it? And there's Cole Palmer, the man we've just been talking about. Extraordinary seasons are hugely positive options. At the moment, Southgate's been using those impact substitutes. Might he go forward from the start? I'll tell you what, Luke Shaw's a really good talker. So these are the sort of issues we can address with him when he speaks to the media a little bit later on. And of course, we'll get an update on his fitness and whether he feels ready to go from the start in a massive game against Switzerland in the European Championships quarter-finals. Is that realistic for Luke Shaw? After more than 4 months, almost 5 months now with no football, that he goes right from. I don't think that will happen. I think Luke Shaw will be on the bench and Southgate will hope to get some game time. But we'll talk to him later on, Rob. 2:30 UK time. Right, come on, let's back up.
Just in case. FA Street. Guys, ladies and gents, well done.